Café and Networking Podcast promotes successful business experts. I'm Tom Reaoch, known as the King of Networking, connecting people throughout the world from my podcast studio in Brazil. And today we talk with William Attaway, joining us from Washington, D.C. William is a mindset and leadership coach who helps high-performance agency owners. He is also an author and podcast host at Catalytic Leadership. So, William, why do you talk so much about evaluation?
Tom, thanks for having me. I'll tell you, I talk about evaluation because I believe that is a key to being a catalytic leader. We have this mistaken belief that experience makes you better. I don't believe that at all. I believe evaluated experience is what makes you better. This is why with every week that passes, I go back and evaluate the previous week. I say, hey, what went right? What can I celebrate? What are the wins that need to be lifted up and celebrated? What went wrong? What do I need to fix next time? What would I do differently? And the last question, how am I going to make it better? How am I going to make it better next time? By walking through that evaluation process, I can take those learnings forward.
Well, I agree with you because actually experience just makes us older.
That's right.
What you're saying, the evaluation of experience can make us, can update us and help us look better to the future.
Absolutely. Growth requires evaluation. We know growth and comfort can't coexist. We know that. But the problem is we think we're just going to grow. We think that over time we're going to get better. And one day we're going to wake up and say, oh, wow, look, I'm a catalytic leader. I'm fully developed. I'm mature. I have all the skills I need. I don't know how that happened, but here I am. The problem with that, Tom, is that's not how it works. Evaluation is how we grow. It's how we get better.
Now and again, tomorrow we wake up again.
Yeah, right?
No, and today becomes the past. You know.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Are we going to learn from the past? Are we going to grow? Are we going to get better? Or are we just going to repeat the exact same mistakes in the exact same ways and never grow beyond them? That choice is up to each one of us.
Today's fast-paced world doesn't give us time to really reflect much. So in our evaluation, we need to be objective in that.
Absolutely. And we have to be intentional. If you don't make time for it, if you don't intentionally create time for it, it's not going to happen.
So maybe when we get up in the morning, the first thought is, why did I get up again?
And what would I like to accomplish today? How do I want this day to be different than yesterday?
Well, I see you also have a podcast and you've written a book, and the titles of both are exactly that, Catalytic Leadership. So in a nutshell, the book, I'm sure you've written about that, and your podcast, you're talking about that constantly.
I am. What I'm trying to do is distill so many of the lessons and the principles that I've learned in almost 30 years of coaching leaders in a variety of different contexts. Take those lessons and present them in such a way that people can take them and apply them now, today, to make their leadership better and more catalytic so they can make a difference, not just live another day like the day before.
And then to that point again, what we learned today, we need to apply right now.
Exactly.
So tomorrow gives us another chance to evaluate that, whether it was right or wrong, good or bad, up or down, and to the point everything's changing. And what I've seen, and I'm sure you see that in your podcast, we're able to update what we're talking about on a showtime basis.
That's exactly right. If we're not doing that, if we're not taking and applying what we're learning, then we're becoming just what I call a bobblehead, where our head gets bigger and bigger and bigger, but our body never moves. That's not catalytic. That's not helpful.
Well, I mentioned at the beginning that you help high-performance agencies. What type of agencies are these?
Typically marketing agencies, though I have experience dealing with other kinds as well. My goal is to help these agency owners and entrepreneurs of all stripes to understand that leadership is a skill, that it can and should be developed. So often entrepreneurs find success because they're really good at providing a product or a service. As they grow and find more success, they have to hire people to help them with fulfillment.
Right.
And then one day, all of a sudden, this group of people is looking to them to lead. And they're like, wait a minute, I didn't sign up for that. Hold on. Guess what? There's a way you can lead well based on your wiring, how you are designed. And that's what I do. I come alongside and help you discover those skills, learn how to lead effectively and in a high performance way.
Now, I see that in real life, and in my experience shows exactly that. As a person, a startup starts up, and as he develops, he really needs to change his own role or her own role.
That's right.
From being the person doing everything to the person really adopting leadership and having other people help do whatever needs to be done.
It's so true. And the blind spots that are inherent in every one of us ensures that we're not going to see things. We're going to miss things. Mm-hmm. You can't see the whole picture when you're in the frame. And that's where a coach is helpful, because a coach has an outside perspective, but they are also for you. They want to see you succeed at your highest level. What is your capacity? Let's hit that. That's what you need in your life if you want to be a high capacity, high performance leader.
Very good. Well, William, how can our listeners find you?
You can go to catalyticleadership.net to discover more about the coaching that I provide, the book that I published last year, and the Catalytic Leadership Podcast. I'd love it if you would subscribe, and if you love it, review it.
Very good. So thanks again for being here.
Thanks for having me, Tom.
And again, to our listeners, you can find more information about William Attaway, and William is William, and the last name Attaway. Find him on LinkedIn, and again, his book and the podcast at catalyticleadership.net. Catalyticleadership.net. Café and Networking is brought to us by Focus MI Market Intelligence, an agricultural market research specialist in Brazil. More information at their site, focusmi.com. Talk to Tom, talk to the world. Thanks for listening. Until the next time here at Café and Networking Podcast.